everybody, my name is Fortefyre and welcome to episode 14 of Fortefyre's Fyreside Chats. Today we're going to be taking a look at Sonic 2. Man, it's been a while since we played a Sonic game. It's hot as hell in here. It's been a while since we played a Sonic game. I think it was back in like episode 3. And that was one of the only games I actually beat all the way, from all the games that we've played on the channel so far. I did beat 1942, you'll hear me talk about that all the time. And I did beat Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 2, but even then, those were like played on the iPhone in a contemporary setting, so I don't really consider them, beat. Growing up, Sonic 2, I want to say that's the version that I played. I remember Tails. I remember Tails was in there. The game came out in 92, I was born in 92, so if we kind of put 2 and 2 together, I probably played this one growing up. Down the road, my dad would have a Game Gear, and on the Game Gear, he would have Sonic 2. I actually have Sonic 2, on the back. Later on, whenever I grew up, I bought the Sonic Mega Collection Plus, which did have Sonic 2 and a bunch of other games on it, so that was pretty cool. But I'm gonna level with you real quick. Get my level face on. If you've never heard of Sonic 2, and you are a retro collector, you probably are not trying very hard. At one point, I was up to my damn eyeballs in copies of Sonic 2. No matter how many lots I would get, it would seem like Sonic 2 was put in there. So ultimately, it became something that I couldn't avoid. And I kind of just looked forward to getting a copy of Sega 2, that way I could trade it out or get some cash for it to buy other games. Unfortunately, none of the copies of Sonic 2 that I've ever received were actually boxed, so I just have the cart. And I think that it's fair to say that in this episode, we'll be taking a look at Sonic and Knuckles as well, because it's compatible with the game. And we'll explain that whenever we get to it. It's actually a pretty cool cart. We'll take a look at the cart, whenever we look at the Sonic 2 cart. But enough out of me. Let's go back to 1992 and talk about the game. So after Sonic the Hedgehog was released, the guy who actually made it, Yuji Naka, quit the company. He met up with a guy named Mark Cerny and went to California, where Cerny was already working for the Sega Technical Institute. So I guess you could say he left Japan, that Sega component, to go to the American component, where this guy could give him more creative freedom to do whatever he pleased. Now, one of the things that you're gonna hear me say about Sega is that they are absolutely trash when it comes to marketing their games. They believed fully that it was too soon to release Sonic 2, and they didn't like the idea of it either. But eventually, in late 1991, they started developing the game. And for the Genesis, 1992 was a pretty decent year. I'm not too much of like a super Genesis freak, so I don't really know many of the titles that were released. I know that Mortal Kombat came out on the Genesis in 1992, which was probably one of the most important titles, aside from Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is a heavy hitter. But other than a lot of sports games, which is something that happens every single year, there wasn't really anything that stood out, unless you're talking about obscure gems, such as Road Rash 2, Clue, Superman. Now in 1992 for Nintendo, it was a totally different story. Dragon Quest V came out, Mega Man 5 came out, Mortal Kombat Sport came out in 1992, and more importantly, Super Mario Kart came out. So Sega had some heavy competition, some good titles. Oh yeah, Streets of Rage 2 came out in 92, didn't it? That was a really good game. But anyway, that's all I got for this, so let's go ahead and take a look at that beautiful cartridge. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at my copy of Sonic 2. And there she is. All right, so right off the bat, I'm kind of frustrated about the number 2 being cut off there, and I'm kind of even more frustrated about that foot going over there, because that's just laziness. They should have condensed it, because there's actually a really cool picture of Robotnik on the front. So yeah, so on the front we got a really nice baby blue background. We have Sonic right here. He's still looking kind of squatty, but this is 90s art. I don't expect any better. And then we have Tails right here. Tails is awesome. Not for resale. So I know in the past I said that not for resale wasn't really, rare. That's not always the case. There are some pretty rare Blockbuster exclusives. There's some rare demo games. In this case, this is not rare. This is exceptionally common. This is the 4th copy of this game that I got, and I finally kept it because the other ones were pretty crappy, and to be honest, a lot of the ones that I find in lots like this, they're not too fantastic. So, yeah. Right here we have the very, very early, whoops, I hit the camera, very early Genesis logo. Obviously, later Genesis logos would look like that. A little bit different, more refined, mo better. Let's see if we look right here. Come on. Oh. Alright, let's just zoom out. Come on! It says Sonic 2, who cares? Okay. Let's see, one more thing. There was an 8-bit version of this game, by the way, so that one actually is pretty hard to find, but it does have this crosshatch feature, which would have been white because it would have been Sega Master System. Let's go ahead and take a look at Sonic and Knuckles. We're going to be reviewing this again because this is an independent game on its own. I can pop this into the Genesis and play this as a standalone. The special feature of this is that it has this lock-on top that allows you to put Sonic 2 and 3 on the top of it and play, differently. I'll show an example of how that works, but I'm not going to be playing the entire game as Knuckles because that's a totally different experience. If I ever do a Sega video on a Ready Go Gaming show, I'll definitely go through and grab some footage. So yeah, standalone game that has that adapter to it, and that's pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and talk some storyline. Alright, so let's go ahead and clear the gray elephant in the room. I got a haircut. I also changed my shirt. I am the same person, although a little bit lighter because I had tons of hair. I'm in the military, so I need to get a haircut. That, and it's a lot cooler trying to run with a big old thing of hair up here. Not too great. Anyway, let's go and talk some premise of Sonic 2. So in Sonic 1, the basic story is Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman, depending on what version you're playing, is trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds so that he can pretty much control the world. He takes all of Sonic's little furry friends and turns them into mechanic animals that act as Sonic's enemies. But in the end of the game, you realize that, spoiler alert, that 6 Chaos Emeralds are not enough. You need 7 Chaos Emeralds. The 7th Chaos Emerald is part of the second game, where Dr. Robotnik woke up one morning and said, "I feel like being an asshole again!" And did the same thing he did in number 1. So, that's it. Except this time, Tails is in tow, which is kind of cool. The controls are a little bit different, so instead of, just running forward, you actually have the ability to press down and hit any of the jump buttons, because let's be honest, all the buttons do the same. Realistically, there's only one button on the controller that matters. It's A, B, or C. And if you press down and you hit one of these, you can do your super fast spin thing. I don't know what it's called. There's some name for it. I don't have the manual, so I can't tell you. But other than that, that's pretty much the story. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game. So in the first part of this game, I'm going to be recording the footage from point A to point B. I will be using a level select code because on the last level, more specifically the Winged Fortress level or whatever, it's really cheap. And it drove me to insanity. So I did use a level select code for the interest of getting, there. Alright, so here we are, Sonic and Tails in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, badass. Alright, so yeah, right off the bat, this is the main screen. We got 1 player, 2 player versus, and options. Ooh, look at that little star going. That's adorable. Okay, so cool, yeah. Alright, Aquatic Ruin, is that what it said? Alright, whatever. Let's go ahead and head to the first level. Alright, so the first level of this game is Emerald Hill Zone, nothing that we're unaware with. The controls remain oh Jesus, already. The cheap stuff. Alright, so the controls remain the same. There was always just one button and it was jump. This game's a little bit different. So in this one, we're able to press down and hit that button and we spam and we're able to go. So we're just gonna shoot. There we go. I don't even know what that's called. I think it's a dash of some sort, whatever. So this is going to be your stereotypical first level Sonic. Cheap shit popping up out of everywhere. A very familiar level that we're used to, especially if we've played this in the past. And we got Tails in tow, so that's really nice. But what it's not nice for are the special levels. And we already talked about that, or we're going to talk about that whenever I rate the game. I've already recorded the rating stuff. Like I said, I had to go back and re-record everything because the footage was lagging. Basically, the way I record this is I record it through OBS and I use Elgato, and I was using the Elgato output, and I guess the audio at some point got misaligned and there was no saving it to the point where even if I used Handbrake and tried to simplify it, nothing was matching up. So unfortunately, that's just something that happens over the course of making these YouTube videos. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and just, press on. So we're going to go through this level, like I said, very familiar level. One thing that's a little bit different about this Sonic game is that there are only 2 stages before you fight the boss. So we're going to finish this stage, and we're going to finish it good. Let's see what we got for a total. 4,000, 8,000, and 0. Alright, so here we are, level 2. Again, super simple the way it's set up. We're familiar with this, especially if you played it before. I want to say that most Sonic games start in Emerald Hill Zone or something to that effect. I don't know if it's the same exact level. I'd have to go back. It's been some time since I played Sonic 1. That was like back in episode 3 of this. So, yeah. And here we are at the end of level 2. Looks like Robotnik got some hints from Shredder there, and he's going to use the old excavator. Am I even doing any damage to him? It doesn't look like... usually whenever you hit it, it goes flashes or something. I don't know why. There it goes. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Hit. It'd be nice if, like, Tails actually did anything. I don't think that Tails is actually doing anything, at least not in the same time frame that I am. So we're going to jump on a capsule, and we're going to release the people, and that's it. Pretty simple. The next level is Chemical Plant Zone. So this one's a little bit annoying, because right off the bat, they're going to throw you into a kind of sort of a water level, and when we get to the end of it, we'll go ahead and show you. It's kind of boring, but, It's kind of confusing too if you're not used to where you're going. And they don't really tell you, bye Tails, they don't really tell you that you can control where you're going if you hit the button at the right time whenever we enter these pipes. And we'll see these pipes in a second that I'm speaking of. But let's go through these matchbox car accelerator things. Alright, cool. So I'm just going to try to get through these levels as fast as I can because, like I said, I already played it. I beat the game too, which is even more frustrating. So in these pipes, you can actually control where you're going if you press right. And that's something I had no clue about, and I was actually surprised. We're going to hit that bumper, go up here, and then we're going to hop down over here. This is going to move automatically. We're going to jump down. Don't worry about all those guys. It's no big deal, and we finished the first level. Alright, part 2, Chemical Plant Zone 2. This is where things kind of get frustrating. There is water in this level, like I mentioned in the first one. And the water kind of accelerates quickly, which is weird. You'll see it in a second, that purple little water right there. But we got a good jump right there, so we're good. We're going to keep running. Let's go and do a little dash up here. Tails, you want to join me? Tails just going to go party, or are you going to come back? She'll come back later. He'll come back later, whatever. I don't even know what gender Tails is. Get away from me. You're going to take all my rings because my partner, who is supposed to be here, helping me, is not here. I don't even know where Tails is. Tails is like stuck in some pseudo... Oh, there... Oh, there... Nope. This game is so silly. Oh, hey, Tails! I didn't know that you clipped it. You're walking on... Okay. We have, broken the game, I think. Because we're going so fast. Alright, hit one of these. Jesus Christ, that's fast. We don't want to get stuck right there. If that smushes us, we're dead. That's the standard, you know, Sonic trope right there. Getting smashed in something. Jesus, we're so fast. I think if I would have hit that right, it would have been better. But anyway, so this is where it gets kind of weird. So that water is gonna rise, but we're gonna try to avoid it if at all possible. And there it comes. Alright, we should sink, yeah. So we're not gonna dodge it completely, and there are no bubbles, so you've got to do that perfectly. Let's go ahead and hit that platform. You fall down here, you're as good as dead. Alright, we gotta watch out over here too, because there's some really, really annoying little platforms right here. See, those drop, and if I fall through that, that's it. You know, like I said, I'm dead. Also, that bumper right... Oh, shit, that bumper actually helps. Okay. I kind of dodged that bumper before because I was kind of unsure of it. Alright, so right here, there's some more This is the shit I'm talking about. Sonic is cheap. So we start off with no rings, which is unfortunate. Also, curious fact, if you do any of the special stages and you have like 100 rings or whatever, unfortunately, it takes away, and I'm screwed again. That's the basic principle of this level. Let's go to the next one. Next level is Aquatic Ruin Zone, which is a zone that's filled with booby traps. If we look right there, that's going to shoot out an arrow. And now the interesting fact about Sonic games is that there doesn't seem to be a termination and draw distance for the objects that are being shot. So if an enemy shoots a projectile at you, you're pretty much guaranteed that that projectile is probably going to run till the natural end of the level. I've seen, like, arrows follow me through the entire level, which is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. This level does have water. It is called the Aquatic Ruin Zone, and the worst part about this level are those drill things. So they pop out of the wall when you least expect them, and you would think, traditionally, that if you were in a supersonic spin or whatever the hell it's called, that you'd be fine, but you're not. You take damage anyway, which is kind of cheap. Oh, jeez. Now I'm taking damage from everything right now. Everything possible I'm taking damage from. Yeah, right there. So if I'd have been in a sonic spin, I still would have taken damage. Like, just hitting him is enough to, you know, do that, unfortunately. Alright, we should be near the end of the level. No big deal. Easy peasy. Alright, so level 2. Pretty much the same principle. Nah, man, we're already underwater. So, the trope still remains for water levels. You've got to hit those bubbles. You want to survive, you need to get some air. That's just the way it is. That's natural. That is, in case you're wondering, how human life works. Unfortunately, I'm in a really bad spot. I need to get air soon, or else it's going to start counting me down, and that's no good. Alright, there we go. 5. Alright. Wop, wop. Alright. Let's go ahead and keep on going. We hit that one pretty good. We got a good jump on it. Oh, I hate water levels so much. Let's see if we can get a good jump off that one again. Not as good as the other one, and we are getting counted down. That's no good. Alright, come on. Give me some air. Please give me an air bubble. There we go. Barely made that. We almost lost it. This is another cheap one. 4 arrows. Good luck dodging that. And we almost died there too. Gosh. Alright, I'm gonna spin dash through all this stuff. Ooh, dodge those. Alright, come on. I need to get air. And we got that air just to get hit by a cheap little mosquito. And we died. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Alright, that's enough from this level. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next level is actually, in my opinion, one of the coolest ones, Casino Night Zone. So yeah, this whole game, well, this level in particular, is just a big gambling minigame. What is this game doing right now? Where are we going? Nowhere good. We're going nowhere fast. You fall down there, you die. Fall down there, you die. But yeah, you got the basic premise of this level. It's super simple. It's just you go from point A to point B. It's a bunch of gambling mini-games. No more, no less. And if you push your luck too much, you get punished for it. That's pretty much it. Obviously, there's boss fights, but, you know, we'll talk about other things. Death. No? I am surprised. Okay. Where do I go? Probably just need to fall. Anyway, let's go ahead and move to the next level. Alright, so the next one is Hilltop Zone. This one's a little bit cheaper, so this one has a lot of opportunities to die, like that. Not nearly as much as like the Winged Fortress Zone, which is an absolute joke. Oh, come on. Alright, thank you. Bye, Tails. And then it falls down. Such cheap, so many cheap enemies. This reminds me a lot of level 2, though, of Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it reminds me a lot of Altered Beast. I can't remember the name of the level right now. I should probably go back and play it again. I think I'd do better now that I've actually played it. An interesting fact, that catapult mechanic was in Sonic 1 as well, in like level 5 or 6 or something. Because you use that mechanic against Robotnik. He launches bombs or mines or whatever, and you use that against him. So, pretty nifty little incorporation of an asset that was already improved upon. So, nice of them to do that. This level is super simple. Just a lot of cheap opportunities to die or get injured. So trying to maintain rings is kind of difficult, but it is what it is. Jump here, boop. Jump there, boop. I probably didn't even need to wait. Crush. All right. Tails, Tails. Oh my Tails. Hey, we survived it. Oh shit, we almost didn't. So that's what I'm talking about. That's bullshit. And something else. That little thing right there, that bumper, set up for death instantly. How did I get up here? I don't know what's going on, and I'm scared. Can you maybe go? Thank you. Alright, so level 2 is pretty much the same. It's just, like I said, a bunch of cheap ways to die. Let's go ahead and move on to the next level. Mystic Cave Zone. So this one... whenever I did the first recording of this, I made a joke that it looks like sometimes, like these right here, look like big green, like Trix turds. But obviously that ship has sailed because I lost the first footage, so I'm not really gonna foot stomp that joke as I did. This one's kind of confusing because it's pretty much a massive maze. This thing right here, so you're supposed to grab that, but I had no clue about that until I accidentally jumped and hit it. So, kind of cryptic, I guess. Not exactly the best way for a level, but I mean, the level design in this game is pretty decent, so I gotta give it that much. Let's go ahead and hop up here. That almost killed me. Those guys are bullshit. How did I get injured? He wasn't even lit up. The game decides when it wants to hurt you. It doesn't even follow its own rules. Collision detection is not really on point in this game. With Oil Ocean Zone, this is where the game kind of starts to get monotonous because there are plenty of ways to die here. From running into enemies and losing all your rings, or falling into that like quicksand of oil that's down there. Which is kind of shitty, but it is what it is. Ooh, we almost hit that. These fans confused the hell out of me when I first saw them because they only last for a little bit and it confused me. Keep going, keep going. Oh my gosh. So petty. This game is so petty. Why are there seahorses flying? I'm so confused. Alright, I gotta remember, there's a part of this level where if you fall, that's it. And it kind of messes with you, so... if you're not prepared, it's kind of like Lion King level 3 where it's just insane. That's kind of like how this one is, unfortunately. There's a definite direction, and if you fuck it up, you fuck it up, so... I'm kind of curious how speedrunners do this. Because they have to memorize at least where everything, you know, dangerous is. Hey, look, an extra life. Alright, well, I missed that one. Alright, so this is the last 3-level stage that we have in the game. It's called Metropolis. I don't think it even says Metropolis Zone. I think it's just called Metropolis. Let me see if I can get to the point where it gets interesting. So I like this real quick, this barrel roll thing, whatever, but that's not what I'm really concerned about. What I'm concerned about are these screws. You get put in all these really crappy situations. It's frustrating. Where are the screws at? I know that the screws are in this level at some point. I just can't remember where they're at. Oh, I was afraid we weren't going to make it. Alright, let's go ahead and keep on going. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is going to be the last thing I talk about for this stage. If I run to the right, it loosens it. If I run to the left, it tightens it. And those starfish suck. Assholes.
Alright, so this is the weirdest level I've ever seen in any Sonic game. So basically, I can jump anywhere I want, Tails will catch me, but it's kind of like this horizontal shooter made by Sonic jumping into things, or Tails. Whenever I did my playthrough, I did Tails only, and it was nice. I did not do that for this one. So let's go ahead and hit that, cool beans, and collect as many rings as we can. Not that it matters, there are no Chaos Emeralds at this point. I don't know if there's any continues either, so I think at that point it's just pretty much done. But yeah, Sonic, or Tails will stick with you throughout the whole thing, so don't worry about falling down. You're not going to fall down. You can take damage and die, but you know, that's just normal. So just keep those rings up and you'll be fine. Next level. Alright, so this is the ridiculous level right here. I died so many times because I was afraid that I was going to get shot and, you know, killed, so I didn't do it. So we get on this catapult, and we'll show you where the bullshit begins. So we go through all this, and it's fine and dandy and whatever. Hit that, run there. Dude pops up out of nowhere like always. And this is where it gets sketchy. So I gotta hit this, but sometimes it seems like Sonic or Tails does not want to grab it. I'm pretty sure that flame harms me, and it's hitting my head, it's licking my head, so... Does it hurt me? It doesn't hurt me? Well, that makes everything easier. Oh my gosh, I died like 50 times trying to do that. That's so frustrating. If I would have only known that, then maybe I could have... Oh my gosh. This is the final level of the game. This is Death Egg. You're not going to have any rings for this fight. Alright, you know what? I'm not even going to do spoilers. This is the last level of the game. It's not really that difficult. Just be patient and pay attention to the visual cues that come, and you'll be fine. Basically, you fight Mecha Sonic, then you fight Dr. Robotnik and a big robot, and we're not going to talk about the ending. We'll leave the ending out of this. I'll probably edit out that part that says, you know, whatever. So yeah, that's the game. So now I popped in Sonic 2 on top of the Sonic and Knuckles card. So what we're going to be seeing now is hopefully Knuckles in Sonic 2. There we go. Alright, so we got Knuckles. Is it going to cancel out his name? Knuckles the Echidna, or Echidna, I don't know how to pronounce that, is in Sonic 2 the Hedgehog. So when we play this game, you'll notice that's a little bit different. So now we're playing as Knuckles. Knuckles has the ability to do this fly thing, and he can do all this awesome shit. He's looking right into your eyes, and he says, I want your soul. So, yeah, Knuckles is a little bit more difficult because he can't jump nearly as high as Sonic could. However, he does have the ability to grab on like the walls and stuff, so he can climb up the walls, which is really awesome. I always loved Knuckles for being, you know, who he is. Awesome character. A little bit more fun to play too, if I had to be honest. He's got a different color shield too. I never realized that. Let's give you an example of like him climbing. If I can pull it off. Can I climb in this game? That might be a Sonic 3 thing. Hold on. Oh, it's frustrating. He's supposed to be able to get to places that Sonic traditionally can't, so is what it is. But he can still do a Sonic Dash, which is... I guess it's an acquired skill from everybody in the Sonic family. That jump is such bullshit, come on. And we're gonna get Knuckles' face? Damn right we are, it's Knuckles. Alright, so yeah, like I said, it's pretty much the same game, they just change the names out, they change out a few other things, and he has a better ability, so... Alright, I guess let's go ahead and talk some pro tips.
Oh man, so that was sufficiently frustrating. Let's go ahead and talk some pro tips. So this game in particular is super cheap. So number one, don't run. Unless you're trying to speedrun it, take your time, enjoy the level, because there are some enemies that are gonna pop out and just screw you over. Tip two, try to get as many rings as you can, because the rings actually matter. You're gonna want all those continues for the Winged Fortress Zone, because it's a nightmare. Tip three, if you're going after the Chaos Emeralds, do not, please do not use the two-player setup. So don't have Tails and Sonic, or Sonic and Tails. Just use either Sonic or Tails, because the computer lags behind. So if you're trying to avoid obstacles, which becomes really difficult in the later special stages, you're gonna wanna pretty much just have it being you, because if you go to jump, Sonic or Tails will jump probably about a half of a second later, and they do charge you for the rings whenever they hit it. So it's kind of like an inevitable defeat. All right, let's go and rate it. Cart. So I'm kind of iffy about the cart solely because the art is compressed. Not a big fan of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 5 out of 10 because the box art was so much more awesome. Interesting trivia, on the box art, Dr. Robotnik has a beard, but he doesn't have it in the real game. He only has his orange mustache. So kind of interesting. Gameplay. The gameplay is really cheap, but it plays a lot like Sonic 1. It can't really knock it because Sonic 1 was a successful game, as was Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is considered to be one of the greatest games of all time. So because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. Music! The music's awesome. What can I say? The music in Sonic has always been awesome. Really catchy, really fits the level that you're in. So because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10.
Art. The art is very much similar to the art of the first game. Continuity is key when it comes to a successful franchise. The enemies are simple, the level design is simply flawless. Outside of a few levels where it's kind of cheap, the game art is on point. Because of this, I have to rate it an 8 out of 10.
Fun! Yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, it's fun, but to the point where like it's trial and error sometimes. And when it comes to trial and error, not a huge fan. I'd rather just explore or beat the game or do whatever. So because of that, I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10. Not too shabby. So that leaves us with an overall score of 7.2. Not too bad, kind of average, but on the higher end. In terms of games that we've played on the channel, this puts it in 5th place overall, right above Ghosts and Goblins, Road Blasters, and a couple of other games that are bordering around 6.6. In terms of games from the 90s, it's now in 2nd place, also 2nd place for Genesis games that we played, so overall not too bad. So that's it for today's episode. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. Also click that bell so that you can see whenever I'm releasing new content. Down in the comment section below, tell me what I should be playing. I've got a bunch of stuff on this wall. I'm always looking to expand my collection. I'm always looking for the next game. The game that you say might be featured on the next Fireside Chat. Also, don't be afraid to like the video. Likes make me feel good. So from my family to your family, good energy, good vibes. Fortefyre out.